Coming soon to PC, Toddles indie cute Up Bobo Bay. In this title by NewFutureKids, you play a young woman who may or may not be some kind of zombie, raising the titular Bobo, hugging them, feeding them, and entering them into races. If you've ever played Sonic Adventure, then you'll be familiar with this kind of thing, as it's very much in the tradition of the Chao Gardens from those titles. Now let's get this preview underway by talking about the positives, all the things I enjoyed from my playthrough from the build that I had available to me. I think the gameplay here is just really neat. I really wish there was a better way to describe it, but as I said previously, this game is essentially the Chao Gardens from the Sonic Adventure games, but expanded out slightly. Your job is to raise the Bobo, cuddling them, training them, entering them into contests so that you can win money to spend on fruit and items to upgrade them to enter more races. When they're in these little contests, you can cheer them on to give them a little bit of a boost, but if you push them too hard, then they'll struggle. This is essentially the kind of stuff we saw in the Sonic Adventure games, but again, expanded out a little. The loop here is very simple but effective, and whilst I do wish that certain elements could be explained better, this whole thing does show a lot of promise. The races are short and simple, there's a very cute vibe to all of this, the Bobo are very adorable, and this has all the ingredients to be a brilliant spiritual successor to the Chao Gardens. I will admit that I'm not 100% sure if this is going to be the kind of game that you're going to be sinking hours upon hours into in extended sessions, as I do think it's lacking a little extra something to take it to the next level, but the development roadmaps in that regard do show that there's a little bit more promise and some interesting stuff coming along later. In fairness though, I would be lying if I said that I didn't enjoy my time playing it, because at the end of the day, this is a very laid back experience. This is a game that is more about creating a vibe more so than it is about creating some kind of mechanically rich experience. You're not going to be spending hours sweating the small stuff when it comes to Bobo stat percentages and wondering if it's a little bit too fast or a little bit too slow, or its climb skill is 1% too high or 2% too low for a certain thing. You're just going to be spending most of your time with these little things and going oh as they bungle about their days regardless of how well or not they do in their races. The game really benefits by having a really charming art style and graphics. Everything is as bright and as colourful as you expect it to be, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't find the sight of the Bobo toddling about and chatting away with each other not to be one of the cutest things I've seen in a video game in a very long time. And this cuteness is well and truly throughout the very core of this entire experience. It really works well to create a very wholesome vibe. Again, I'm not 100% sure how much staying power the final game will have, but nonetheless, I know that there are people out there who have been really gunning for a return to the Chao Gardens from the Sonic games for a very long time, and I feel that in that regard, this is a fine successor. Sure, there is a greater goal that you are building towards in a more abstract way. Your character wants to prove themselves as being a great Bobo razor minder thing, and trying to make your Bobo better, faster, stronger is neat. But still, with all of that said, there is a tenderness and a warmth here that really makes this a cool, cute little game. I am happy that so far it just seems that this game is very upfront with what it is, and it doesn't seem like it's going to make some kind of hard bank turn into some kind of darker plot point, or is going to suddenly get some horror-inflected nonsense thrown at me at some point or another, or it's not going to turn out like Slime Rancher after a certain point it starts to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable given how certain things are put together. But with all that said, you know, maybe we could give these little so-and-sos a roof over their head, please. Because, I mean, they've just sat outside sleeping all night, and that can't be good for the poor little things. With all that said, let us get into the negatives, and first off, I have to say I feel the tutorial text needs improving. It may well have been improved by the time you're watching this, but in the build that I played, I'm going to be honest with you, it really wasn't up to snuff. Yes, I don't like it when video games hold my hand through everything, but there are nuances and aspects to the gameplay here that just weren't really obvious to me when I was playing the game the first time around. And the only tutorial that you really get here is a splash screen when you load up the game, and things like cheering on the Bobo isn't really explained, and I will be honest with you, starting a race can be very convoluted, and that is something I would have really appreciated having explained to me when I first started playing through this, but hey, this is simple stuff that can be easily sorted by the time the game gets to its next build. And like I say, don't get me wrong, but I'm not that sure as to how much staying power the final game will have. The original Chao Gardens were a break between levels in a very high-octane platformer, a chance to catch your breath, sit back, chill out, relax and enjoy some fun time with these little creatures. And yes, it's something you could have sunk a lot of time in on its own, but there wasn't really much else to really do there beyond just, looking after them and entering into mini-games and such. Here, this entire game is essentially built around a side feature in another game. Yes, there is stuff here that can be expanded upon, yes, there's game modes coming on that are going to be introducing new things, but as it currently stands, it's just this loop of cuddling these things, feeding them and entering them into races ad nauseum, and as cozy and as cute and as wholesome as all of this is, I'm not that sure if this is the kind of game that's going to keep me playing it for the longer periods, and that might change as we go forward as the game is developed, but as things stand, maybe that'll improve upon, I really don't know, but hey, I'm not the target audience for all of this. With all that said, I am very much looking forward to seeing how this one turns out. Bobo Bay holds a lot of promise, and then if the developers can really handle things well, give the players plenty of things to do, explains the gameplay elements out a lot better, this could easily be one of the must-play titles the year that it releases, or failing that, a very fine, sweet, sugary little adventure. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below if you played it thus far. If you're interested about it, if you're excited about it, let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you all for listening, thank you all for watching, and see you next time. Goodbye!
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, favourite, subscribe, click the bell, and do all the YouTubey stuff that YouTube wants you to do. Go on, it'll do me a power of good. Until next time, my friends, goodbye!